Introducing the one and only king of fake news sites, Babylon Bee editor-in-chief, Kyle Mann. Kyle, it's really great to have you back for another year at Pro-Life Con. Hope you didn't have to cancel any golf outings with Elon Musk or anything to make this work.
You know, I texted Elon and I let him know that I was doing this, and he said this is more important. So here I am. Yeah.
I appreciate that. That was really nice of him. In the past 2 years, since 2020, it seems like the world has gotten so much crazier, and so has the news, honestly, that real headlines are often sounding like satire. In fact, I hear a common colloquialism among conservatives when we read a crazy headline. We say, I thought that was a Babylon Bee headline. So as a successful fake news source, I want to hear your take on what role satire plays, specifically as it relates to the pro-life message. What does it accomplish?
Yeah, satire is a very powerful tool for communicating truth. And that's really important, obviously, with the pro-life movement, because the pro-life message relies on truth. It relies on biological truth. It relies on the spiritual truth of the value of a human being. And the more we can communicate that to a culture of lies, the better. Satire has this power to get directly to people's hearts and minds in a way that sometimes straight speech cannot. G.K. Chesterton once said that humor can get in under the door while seriousness is still fumbling at the handle. And that seems to be the case with satirical headlines and satirical videos. Any kind of humor or commentary that can just kind of get right to people while their guard is down because they're laughing. That's so important when you're talking about things that are really a life or death situation for so many unborn Americans, that we really believe that satire is this tool that God has given us to be able to communicate very important truths in this crazy time where so many people believe lies.
That's really cool. I love the Babylon Bee, and I think a lot of the headlines are super funny. Would you say that satire is a tool to change minds?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, humor and satire have, different purposes, and obviously there is some good to just making people laugh just for the sake of humor. And we like to do that as well because there's so much anxiety and stress going around these days, especially coming off this pandemic, that to give people a reminder that there are more important things and that we will endure, that there are more eternal things than the temporary struggles that we're dealing with is such an important thing, and laughter is such a good way to do that. But of course, satire also communicates a message. And I think humor is such a good way to deliver a message that conservatives have sometimes been bad at that. We've kind of just released a bunch of cheesy movies and not done really good comedy, especially us as Christians oftentimes release a lot of corny movies that are just trying to get a message across. But we've been bad at the element of actually injecting really good humor and really good creativity into those things that do communicate a message. So that's what we're trying to do at the Babylon Bee, is show people that, hey, you know what, we're conservative Christians, we're pro-life, and yet we have a great sense of humor. We can laugh at ourselves, and we can use humor also to attack bad ideas.
Well, you make a good point that you guys are not just making people laugh while you are accomplishing that, but you're sharing a really important message. So I want to know, how does the Bee share a pro-life message with your audience? How are you reaching them with that?
Yeah, we are constantly hitting Planned Parenthood and pro-choice politicians and the Democratic Party that supports abortion. Most of the members of that party will support abortion at the leadership level, and so we are always just hammering that point home. And it's kind of an area that a lot of comedians won't go into. It's seen as kind of off limits or off topic or whatever. It's something that's over the line for so many. And so a lot of people were kind of found it refreshing when they discovered the Babylon Bee and the fact that we would go after abortion from a conservative Christian pro-life perspective. And yet at the same time kind of retain the sense of humor while we're doing it. It's a very difficult needle to thread because you don't want people to think that you're making light of abortion, of course. You want them to know that we are making a very important point, and that we're going hard after the people who push the pro-choice message.
So what has been the biggest challenge that the Babylon Bee has faced when you have been speaking out on these important hot button issues such as abortion?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest challenge to us comes from censorship, from big tech, and it's kind of this big cabal of big tech, government, mainstream media organizations, fact checkers. They all kind of work together to try to silence us. And often it comes from the fact checkers first. They'll come after us and say that we're sharing misinformation instead of jokes. And then that message then starts to spread. We were even called misinformation by sources like CNN and the New York Times. And
Wow.
that's obviously really scary for us, because then the fact checkers and the social media guys can use that to then ban us and deplatform us from social media. And we have experienced some of that.
Wow. So I know that our audience is comprised of a lot of fans of the Babylon Bee, as well as a lot of activists who are really eager to kind of join in the work that you all are doing, that we all are doing in sharing a pro-life message through digital media, specifically social media. Do you have any tips for people who want to take to social media right after ProLifeCon and speak out for life?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think as the Babylon Bee, we try to be bold. We're not going to go out there and kind of be cowardly and hide behind this or that, or just do this kind of middle of the road humor that's not gonna clearly communicate the position that we're coming from. I mean, I think we do need to be more bold on social media. Too many people are afraid to speak out because of cancel culture or losing their jobs or whatever. And I think that's fine as far as it goes. You can't really blame people for not wanting to lose their jobs. But the more and more we go along with that, the more and more we are going to become kind of cowardly as a movement, and we're going to kind of allow cancel culture to take over as the predominant worldview in the marketplace of ideas, and we don't want that to happen. So I do think we need to be more bold. Obviously, each person needs to kind of gauge what they're comfortable speaking out about with their own conscience. But I firmly believe that people should be more open about their beliefs, and retweet some hilarious Babylon Bee articles. That'll get your message across.
I love it. Well, thank you guys for your boldness and for the laughs. Real quick, how can people connect with you?
Yeah, you can follow the Babylon Bee on Twitter, Facebook, all of the social media networks, and I'm on there too. So you can look me up on any of the social media.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kyle. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.